The essence of the community is in collaboration, which is where I see the future of AI, Darren. Now, one of the things that we believe is that AI is currently being treated as the space race back in the day. Countries across the world are competing on who can form the best AI.
Hey everyone, Darren here. Welcome to Denzity Insights, where we interview experts worldwide to tell you more about how the real estate industry works. Experts such as real estate agents, developers, world-class investors, advisors, and more can break all the myths and misunderstandings for our own real estate exploration. Today, we have Prash to talk about his projects in real estate and how they all tie together and impact the whole industry. His projects such as the real estate agency side in Australia, his media side, and his project in AI, artificial intelligence. He's going to tell more about how all of them to tie together impact the industry and how it will change the way you explore in real estate. Without further ado, please meet Prash, and I hope you like this show. Thank you. Hey Prash, hey, how's it going, man?
Good, Darren, yourself?
Very good, very good. Thanks so much for joining us in, because we have tried arrange this for a while, and then I think last time I see you was in Hong Kong a year ago, right?
In July, that is correct, my friend. It was a great trip for us when we went over there, and it was a pleasure to meet you and the team.
Yeah, like the absolute pleasure. And I remember that event is about property tech. It's a pitch night that's
correct.
Denzity and Asia Prop Tech, we both co-host together, which is something that interesting because like for your background, you're not only from a real estate traditional professional, you actually want to step into the prop tech space. So it's something that I want to talk to you more and explore more what's going on there.
Beautiful. Let's do it, Darren.
Yeah. So for the audience that want to know more about you, would you mind giving like a short introduction of who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Sure. I'm originally from Malaysia. I've been in Perth, Western Australia the last 10 years, and I've been in the real estate game for the last 5 years. So my bread and butter is real estate investment. I grow my clients' wealth via property. And one of my passions is, well, two parts. One is in film. I absolutely love film. I've been writing since I was 12 years old. So that's where my media comes in. And the other part is property technology, as you mentioned. I think moving into real estate, one of the things that we do is always to look at our long-term vision, right? So our 5 to 10 year plan, and knowing where technology is going is where I would like to be in. And now we've formulated a team to push forward in creating innovation in our industry.
I see. That's something that now when you said you're interested in filming, that makes a lot of sense now, because like for you've been doing a good job on on social media, and then like I think your storytelling skill is spot on, and something that I wish the industry it was true. It's pretty captivating. So I have some question first. Start with something that I'm sure everyone's asking, right? Is that how has the COVID-19 the virus affected the Australian market, and then how have you and other real estate professionals coping with it?
Sure. So I'll start off with talking about how the WA market has been in the last 5 years. So we've been in a downturn since the mining industry boomed in 2012, 2013. We have seen a downward turn post the mining industry boom. So we've had a reduction in our values of property and in higher supply. So we had a lot of apartment built over the last 3 years. So we had about 16,000 homes in the market at any given time. Where in a seller's market, it was 8 to 10,000 homes. So the last 3 years has seen a downward trajectory. When COVID hit earlier this year, we had obviously when the uncertainty of market took place, we had a reduction of our weekly transaction. So it saw a 50% reduction in our weekly transaction from 600 sales per week to 300 sales per week. However, as months progress, I think one thing that the Australian government did really well is to manage the lockdown. It was a staged lockdown. So in other words, the small businesses were looked after. They created a stimulus with a JobKeeper scheme, which ensured that people or the small businesses could survive and still have a limited number of employees while they sustain the business through the downturn, through the lockdown. and also post-lockdown, when our numbers were managed about 4 weeks ago, they started a stimulus to invite local businesses to start reopening again. And this was also a staged approach. That has in turn seen the confidence of purchasers increase. For the last 2 weeks, we've seen genuine buyers come into the marketplace. Tire kickers are out of the market. So from a professional standpoint, it's great to see that. The challenge, however, remains the same, Darren, because it has been the downturn the last 5 years. Us ensuring that the expectations of the sellers of the market price has to match the actual value of what buyers are willing to pay. So that's still the remaining challenge. However, rental values have been increasing. So at the earlier in Q1 of 2020, your vacancy rates were reducing to from 2.7% to about 1.8%, which is great. That tells us that in the coming months, rental values will increase, in turn, improve and boost the investor market, which will then increase the price. So in a nutshell, with the COVID crisis, while it has caused uncertainty, I think in the last 4 weeks, it has truly showcased that the true buyers are out there. We've gone through the downturn. Now we're looking at where we can take the market forward. I think just before the interview, we mentioned about the first home buyer incentive, announced just this last weekend. Up to about $55,000 is available for first home buyers if they're looking to build. So I think the next months should spell a good and positive light for the market overall.
That's great. I think that it's something that a lot of real estate market, I've been interviewing a couple of experts, and they also said that the government is trying really hard to help out because the law market was going recessions, a lot of uncertainties and stuff like that. So hearing from you about to understand what's going down south that's awesome. And then so a bit more about from your side, right? So I know that you started with the sales side of real estate industry. How do you get into the real estate media side?
Sure. So as my first 2 years, Darren, one of my biggest challenge was credibility. As you know, in the real estate game, it's all about representing a person's asset. And in the area that I'm dealing with, I work in properties between your 750 to 1.5 million. And they're beautiful character homes. One of the things I realized that the media often portrayed the negative side of real estate, of property, for obvious reasons, that it sells. One of the things that I'm truly passionate about, as I mentioned earlier, is about film, and the power of media is about showcasing the truth of a particular industry. And if I can show that from the point of view of peers, of my peers in the industry, then why not? So I created the Real Estate Times to cut out the bullshit from the marketplace and to showcase what is truly happening. And that has grown over the years. I started up becoming a media corporation, forming videos for my properties, and doing quick 1 minute or 2 minute videos about lifestyle surrounding properties as well. I think that was highly important to show that, listen, while property can be a way of expanding your wealth, it's also a lifestyle possibility. So that's how the extension came about in creating the Real Estate Times, and I've been enjoying it since. It's merging my two passions. So no, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, it's something that when I met you, right, I looked into your content and I was just like, wow, there's something that it looks like a very high production, but then obviously I think there's some content you create is actually very, very, DIY and everything, a lot of things that's very simple. But I mean, production aside, right, I'm working on this is like a setup I did at home. It's not any glamorous, but I think people just care about the content, and then what you're trying to do is painting a culture, because real estate it's not just numbers. It's more than that. It's people interacting with the space. And obviously, I'm really emotional about this whole sector. So as you, so I'm sure. So, but then,
I love the passion, though.
We can talk about hours and hours about it. So
absolutely.
Since surely that you have experiment with different stories, style, storytelling style and content, which you're really good at. What type of format and content do your audience like the most? And then why do you think that's the case?
Sure. I think one of the things that we made a point to do with our content is to summarize our values, or what we want to, or the message that we want to portray within 60 to 90 seconds. As you know, with social media, attention span is fairly short. And if you can get your message across in 60 to 90 seconds, then I think a lot of my clients and my audience has been responding fairly well to that. As much as mentioned, I'm able to speak about it for hours and end, as good as that will be. If I can summarize my content in that 60 seconds, then I've successfully done so. And the way I do that is very simple: intro, outro, and have 3 points of summary of the message. So I've been doing that for the last 3 years now, and it's fully turned my cold prospects into warm. The idea is that they see me as the way I am on video, and I appear the same in person. And I think that's where a lot of professionals are unable to cut across the authenticity line. Because if you are authentic and if you are genuine, you speak from your heart. And when you speak from your heart, passion flows. And that's where I believe that the true connection is established across the power of media.
I see. So like, like when I watch your contents, right, in Real Estate Times, you have covered more than just real estate. And then obviously we touched a little bit just now on culture and everything, but what's a reason behind that when you're crafting the journeys and series and so on?
Sure. Yeah, to be honest, the last 3 years or I would say 5 years in my career has been a growth process, Darren. It's been me growing to become the person that I am today. And one of the things I've always wanted to do instead of preaching something is to share my learnings. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm sharing my experiences over the last 5 years, be it with learning through business, be it with the apps that I'm utilizing, be it with my project in artificial intelligence, or what is happening with my community in real estate. If I can share that with my peers and my clients, then to me that's an extension of who I am. And if that is set across in my business, then I believe it will be the great way of portraying the way I run my business too. So again, back to authenticity, right? As much as I would like to preach real estate and everywhere I can, that's not what I'm only about, And so it's all about sharing my learnings, and be that with exercise, with my mental and my mind and my body, be it with business in my learnings, or with my community support. I believe it's connecting all of it to form the person that I am, and in turn our end clients should benefit from it too.
That's great. I think something that like I want to get to the AI soon, because something that obviously I want to ask you more. It's something that I'm still learning. And then it seems like I do want to ask some question later on about how everything ties in together. So before that, right? Because we both know that the real estate, experts, KOL, professionals, any jargon they use to classify that, using a lot of social media to present their information. And then, so in your point of view, or something that you're really close with, how's it changed, during the year, and how does your approach change according to those platforms evolve through time?
Sure. And I think that's been the biggest issue with social media. There's been that many landscapes, that many platforms that's come in the last 5 years that we find it hard to pick one. And that is my advice to all professionals. Choose one that you're comfortable with. And for me, it's Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram, I'm big on, as you know, Darren. I love my Sunday videos. Keep it simple. At the end of the day, it's about just making sure that your message goes across. So to be honest with you, that has been what I took on to myself. The idea is consistency, right? If you don't think you can maintain consistency, then only pick one that you're comfortable with and go ahead with that. So I believe it's where your audience lies. And if you think that LinkedIn is the place for you for professionals, then sustain your audience on LinkedIn. If you think Instagram is the then go ahead with that. But I take my cues from Gary Vaynerchuk. One of the things that he said is to create a video pillar content. If you have one pillar content, for example, a 2-minute video, which can be put onto YouTube and can be put onto then on Facebook, you can take snippets of it, 30-second snippets, 60-second snippets, put that onto your LinkedIn and Instagram as well. So it's understanding your flow and how the platforms can be affected utilizing one media content.
I mean, if Gary Vee say so, you gotta go with it, because he's the one who's. It's true. I mean, that's good. It seems like we have to both, same kind of people we listen to, so learn from and everything. So
absolutely.
And all that, right? Because this, when I draft this whole interview with you, in my head, there's so many questions, because it's you are really diverse. Not only that, you're a good storyteller. It seems like it has since early on you have that already. You're
Yes.
doing the sales side, helping clients, connecting different dots
Correct.
together. Then you got the property tech side, technology side, which is very complex because I'm working
Yes.
on that too. It's not easy, very
It
forward.
isn't.
And then same time,
Yes.
it's like you coming everything together. So being at the forefront in the real estate, I call it new age of real estate, sector.
I love it.
How do you
Yes.
see the future of real estate media? And then
Sure.
how would like technology like AI that benefit the whole
Yes.
sector?
Sure. I think I see it from a quadrant point of view, Darren. The idea is simple. We want to benefit our end clients. In this scenario, they are our purchasers and they are our sellers. We are managing an asset that is backed by a real world asset. Yes. Idea is property is the future of where you see growing wealth. My media is about the front of the property. The technology is about the systems, and my sales is the transactional element to it. So that's how all three are connected. The future of media, to answer your question, I would see it as what we mentioned earlier, social media itself, because attention, for one, it's growing shorter by the years, and everything is in our hands. The platform in our mobile phones. Then that is where we should be gravitating towards value chain providers such as your social media. So videos would be your best way forward. The future of media, I see it is in social media itself, and that's what we've been focusing on. With technology, the systems come into where you would predict real estate will take forward. So I would say anything that can benefit our end clients, anything that goes into automation and outsourcing, that's where we put our focus in, right? And that's how our machine learning comes into play. So with technology, with AI, idea is to ensure ease and accessibility for our end clients.
That's great. I think I might have to steal some lines from you because something that I have a hard time telling people what's going on. So,
no problem. It's connecting all three. That's the idea, and it's always for the benefit of our end client. And it's a long game for us, right, Darren? We know with property, it's never about a 1 year, 2 year thing, and if you put it into perspective of a 10-year plan, then everything should fall into place.
Hopefully, it's something that obviously as founders we think that way every day, but it's a hard journey. But before because there's some questions that they're talking to you, and then I want to kind of know how your point of view of how investors utilizing social media to also learn about investing, how to properly have better informed decisions, who they can trust and everything. But before everything, right, it's something that I have to ask you because when I met you talked about REXY, the AI, REXY AI, and then something that before everything comes in, I wanted to ask you that question because it seems like it's something that I'm really curious. So how does everything lead to REXY AI? And then would you mind explaining more about the what it does and then what is the vision of the whole project?
Absolutely. So I'll start off with what REXY is. The word REXY stands for real estate. So the RE, real estate DNA. The XY is the DNA in real estate. And the idea is going back to basics about collaboration. See, I believe that when it comes to purchasing a property, there are many aspects to the entire transaction. The A to Z of the buying process. Generally, a salesperson falls into the place of representing the element of the asset only. Then you have your settlement agent, you have your financiers, you have the trades that are involved. The idea of REXY is that we are a community of agents, brokers, and trades powered by the unlimited power of artificial intelligence. Now, where the AI comes into place is with regards to the data that we are collecting. On a basic transaction, we understand that a purchaser purchases a home and potentially will resell it in the next 5 to 7 years. That's the average in Australia. Understanding their journey, firstly, which in turn tells us about their buying behavior, should help us then predict where they will be in the 5 to 7 years. So the goal of our community is to be able to serve them throughout the journey, not just being a transactional agent, but being an agent that focuses on relationships. That's how REXY AI was formed initially. Our vision was to have that in place, but the essence of the community is in collaboration, which is where I see the future of AI, Darren. Now, one of the things that we believe is that AI is currently being treated as the space race back in the day. Countries across the world are competing on who can form the best AI. One of the best solutions to that is collaboration. Quick example on what's happening with COVID currently. As we know, vaccines are being created by about 16 to 18 countries at the moment, right? That are pressing forward in creating the vaccine. How they're doing it is by collaborating on a resource or on a knowledge that they gain. So as soon as something is gained in one country, that is shared across the other nations that are creating it as well. That is where I see the future of it. So besides being a competing industry, as real estate generally is known for, with automation and with the future of computing, collaboration needs to be the way forward. That's what I truly stand. So that's the essence of what we're trying to create. And where that falls into place, once again, is with regards to delivering value for end clients. My goal is to be able to collaborate with the peers in my industry, not competing, for the well and true benefit of our end client. So right now, it's all about collecting data and understanding the process. Without data, there is no machine learning. And machine learning, as we know, falls in two places. There's robotics and there's prediction analysis. Our system is all about predictive analysis and how we can then predict the future of our transactions.
I see. That's a really ambitious like vision you have. And then like in the same time too, right? You know, like there's so many platform popping out. Like this morning I saw like 2 platform raise money coming into Hong Kong. You know, I'm in Hong Kong, and there's just like so many different platforms. It seems like, you know, it's going to be, I wouldn't say a battle. It's more like a lot of people are going to the space and they're excited about it. So in your point of view too, right? When there's so many different options, like real estate platforms, like, you know, Australia, I think there are a bunch of them. How would you think that the future of, you know, real estate platform or the whole sector is going to become?
Yes, I think what you are creating, Darren, with Denzity is an amazing example and an answer to your question, because it's about a collective of people who are experts in their industry, number one, experience in the industry and the passion to help. That's key, right? Because I believe that's where the future is, because you can enter the industry and have a vision or have a goal of creating multiple streams of revenue. It's highly possible. But if your vision lies in helping the future of the industry, then that's where I believe the strength lies in. So a place where our public or our end clients can come to find people who are experts, number one, providing true value, number two, and number three, have a heart of collaboration, should be the way forward. Because that's who I would personally trust. Right. At the end of the day, if I see you in a platform and you are there sharing the information for the benefit of all, then I believe that you are not out there to look after yourself. And in the future, that will exactly will separate the human touch and the computational elements. As you and I both know, every industry is going to change with regards to automation. So our end client going to be clicking buttons more than picking up the phone. So our goal is to become the forefront, number one, of that transaction, and number two, to become the trusted advisor. So a platform that has all of that combined, i.e. Denzity, should be a place that I believe would be the future. And the answer to your question.
Flatter. I'm going to steal some line.
I had to slip it in there.
I want to raise money next time. I want to steal some line from this and be like, hey, you know, source from this interview.
That's right.
No, thank you. I am really flattered. Thank you. I really hope something that like we're both working on this. So something that even personally, I really want to thank you, because we both, at least we coherent each other, because that's what we believe in, you know, like it's to help the industry. So something that like, so, you know, the audience obviously might be interested in learning about, you know, real estate digitization, the property tech or AI and everything. And then some audience might be investors. So it's something that I'm really curious too, right? In your point of view, which you have been around the social media space and long enough, and the media space, how is something that an investor should be careful, or they should be aware when they have consumed these kind of real estate media? I mean, one more thing to add, right, is that, you know, media is great. However, there are bound to be bad players, bound to have people that are not meant to be, you know, good-hearted, you know. So I want to know your point of view on that. It's something that even myself, I'm curious, it's something I'll be aware about.
Yes. Well, I think the first thing is that you're right. There is a lot of news out there that is untrimmed. That's how I would say it. I.e., watching the news first thing in the morning, right? Our first thing to do is to trim out the fat, cut out the negativity, and try to understand what's happening in the world. I think every investor that's out there should understand the source of the news that they're reading. That's number one. And knowing that not every news outlet is out there to just spread the right and the true news. Everyone has an agenda behind them. So knowing where, or I guess who owns this media corporation and what agendas that they're running the corporation for is highly important. I mentioned earlier, the reason why I started the Real Estate Times is to cut out the bullshit. I mean that true and well. Knowing who's running it, what they stand for, their principles, and how they're delivering their news is very, very important. So I say that to all of my investors, all of my clients, right? Reading the article is fair and fine, but know the source, understand the information on where it's coming from, and always get a second opinion. So that will be my best recommendation. I say that to my friends and family, so I would say that to my clients as well.
Yeah, no, that's summarized really well, because it's something that is a big discussion in the industry. And then I feel that, like not to make the older generation, not a good players. It's just because back in the day, there aren't that many ways to understand what's going on. And then in Hong Kong, for example, there are a lot of these kind of scams or mistakes people make, and it turns and make the whole industry, as I said before earlier on this video, they make them sound like a very bad industry and so on. So it's something that is very good to hear from you, because something that sometimes, when I tell this kind of stuff to people, everyone's like, we're talking about the media sector, real estate media sector is very efficient. You know everything. I was like, no, you have no idea how much things that no one knows about, or things that's missing, and that you can't just take an article and say, oh, this is exactly what I need to do.
That's true.
X, Y, Z. So no, it's something that I think that's a very good way to end this whole interview. But before you go, what kind of takeaway would you like the audience to have in this video?
Sure. Well, one thing I would say is that at the end of the day, always look at where the future lies, right? Understand future growth. Look at the next 5 to 7 years, be it if you're investing in real estate, be it if you're looking at the technology of real estate as well, and work your way backwards. Find your comfort zone in that line, in that industry, and reach out to experts, i.e. yourself, Darren, because at the end of the day, we are here to help. If you're building something, again, I've known you since I met you in Hong Kong. The passion is there, the genuinity is there. If that lies in your soul, then that will be part of your principles in your business too. So that's my ultimate takeaway. Read the person behind the camera, make sure you know their principles, and you will know who you want to work with. Also, with transparency, you and I both know where the future of blockchain is taking us. Transparent will be everything in there. So with the advent of AI, IoT, and blockchain, I think there'll be a lot less of falsity in the media. People will be peer reviewed, and where the technology takes us, it can only be better as long as the right people are leading the way.
Yes, I think that's a great way to kind of let the audience understand that how it's going to be in the future and stuff like that. And then I feel like we can talk about this for another 3-4 hours. And obviously for us, we do plan to if this whole insight series is good, people likes it, we want to do something more specific. It can be property tech, it can be media itself, something more specific. So at the interim, right, if the audience want to know more about you or want to know more about your work, what are a couple of ways that you suggest them to reach out to you?
Brilliant. Well, we can do it in 3 forms. Number 1, please head on to the website. So that's realestate.com.au. Also with my Instagram at the Real Estate TimesTV. Also, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. My name Prash Nayar. More than happy to help you in any way. Again, we are focused in Western Australia, but we've got our agents across Australia as well. So the idea is that any part in our country you like to invest in, we're here to help, and you can reach out to us in all the 3 forms.
That's great. And obviously I will include everything in the show notes in this whole video description.
Thank you, Darren.
And then I just want to say thanks for your time, and this has actually been a blast, and then it's something that I really want to talk to you more in the future.
I look forward to our next chat, Darren. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming in, and then talk to you next time.
No worries.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Take care, my friend.
You too. Bye. Thanks for watching. What do you think of this episode? Please let us know in the comment below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to keep in touch with us for upcoming videos. But before we go, I want to give a big shout out to Patina Design Lab. They're the one who help us in making our brand, art direction, as well as these videos. They are a strategic design consultancy firm that help businesses with a wide range of design services, from industrial design, branding, graphic design, art direction, content creation, and many more. They are a very talented bunch, and I urge you to check out their website for their work. That's all for today, and see you next time. Cheers.